And we're back from vacation. How
Hello.
are you?
I'm good. Refreshed.
Refreshed? How was Phoenix?
It was okay. I only stayed there for a day and then went to... It was already getting hot. It was already getting stifling hot.
Was it?
Well, I mean, just the one time when I got in my car, I'm like, ugh, this is Phoenix. So yeah, then I went to the mountains. It was much nicer and cooler.
What, you have your mom's cabin up there?
Yeah. Yeah,
And-
my family has a couple of cabins.
And how was that?
It was nice.
I need to go out to Tempe tomorrow.
Oh.
Going to see Corey Taylor from Slipknot, first live show, and I don't know how long.
And excuse me, the show's tomorrow?
Yeah. It's
Oh.
socially distanced. It's outside at some place called the Marquee.
Wait. Oh, okay. I know where that's at.
Yeah.
On a Monday, that's weird.
Yeah, so we had different type of things scheduled for the show today, but I guess canceled. So again, we're winging it, but I guess that's what we do best
Yeah.
on this. But let's try to get Peter on the phone.
Okay.
He can talk. Are you gonna video call him?
Sure, why not? We have that technology. Oh, here, grab. Let's see.
Show's been off for like 2 weeks and we did no show prep.
Hello? Oh,
Hey,
well, let me turn
give us a
this
second.
up. What?
Had my microphone set up here.
Okay.
Okay, let's try this. You got an iPhone, right?
Yeah.
All right.
Bear with us.
Pete, can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you guys fine. Can you guys hear me?
Oh, there we go. I hear him.
There we go. Let me turn you up there. All right. Hey, Pete, how you doing?
Good. I'm trying to get my microphone set up here real quick. Hold on
Okay.
a second.
All right.
Okay.
Hey, we weren't prepared either.
Do 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 do.
Hey, why don't we go try to guest host on Jeopardy?
Right.
You know, I suck at that show.
I think Jeopardy's. Did they get a new host?
Oh yeah, because Alex Trebek died.
That's what I'm saying. I don't know who the host is. I don't have regular TV.
They've been doing guest hosts for the last few months. Aaron
I
Rodgers
see.
just did it.
Okay.
What?
Well,
Yeah. Whoa. Hey.
Aaron Rodgers. Yeah, didn't he recently say that he doesn't want to play with his teammates or something?
Yeah, he doesn't want to play for the Packers anymore.
It was some kind of drama. I'm like, oh.
You know, you would think. Oh.
Hi.
Hey.
Wait, we can see you.
Oh yeah, I guess we're not really in here.
Okay.
Do you guys want to do video or you guys just want to do audio?
No, this is fine. Video
this is
is
fine.
fine. You'll see more of snow than you will of me.
Yay.
Hi, Peter.
I'd rather look at snow than myself, to tell you the truth.
Happy birthday.
Thank you.
Yeah, it was your birthday.
Yeah, the 13th.
How was it?
It was good. It was fun. I got an ice cream cake, which I was happy about because I haven't had one of those in years.
Was it a fudgy
Oh my
whale?
God.
Mhm.
Somebody brought me like a Klondike bar and it was like so good.
What did you do
Okay.
for it?
I know, right? I wonder. I'm like, what? Did somebody watching me? Anyway, I haven't had one in like almost like 10 years.
Yeah, those are good too.
Mm-hmm. It was one with Heath in it,
Oh, yum. Even better
Yeah.
than the plain one.
I don't,
right?
Yeah.
I don't know.
They've
when
got
the
like
last time-
10 different flavors now.
Oh my gosh. Maybe I'll have to take a gander down the frozen foods aisles. Check them out.
Hey, so how's it going in Memphis?
Good, man. It's Memphis in May right now, right? So it just wrapped up.
Oh, it was this past week.
It's this week, yeah. I mean, it ended yesterday. Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, technically, it would be last week, but yeah, it's the largest barbecue event in the world. So,
And did you partake in it?
I didn't. It was a little bit different this year. They didn't have the stage. Typically, they have 3 stages. So let me paint the picture. So it's actually on an island. It's there's an island off of Memphis called Mud Island, and it's like this little peninsula. It's maybe like I don't know, maybe half a mile long, and there's like three different stages on there. They do concerts. Like Pink Floyd's performed a couple times there, and so it's really nice. Yeah, and so typically that's where the barbecue event is. It's like, or it's actually. Let me back up. It's actually on Tom Park, which is right adjacent to it. And so they have concerts at Mud Island, which is connected to Tom Park. But typically they've got three stages there. There's huge concerts. There's barbecue going. It just like there's like this cloud of barbecue smoke that just rolls through downtown Memphis. So
So you can
this
smell
year
it
was
all the way through there if you're.
the entire downtown is just like, so I was over by the Black History Museum, and
Civil rights thing. Okay.
yeah, the Civil Rights Museum. And so yeah, it was like this fog of barbecue smoke. So it just it's like this smell of like wood and hickory and like rendered pork and beef. It's amazing. So
Yum.
yeah. So yeah, I mean, so usually it's a lot larger. This year they scaled it back because of it, just everything's getting back into the swing after COVID, and there's still a lot of restrictions. But it was reduced. They cut back the number of teams. They had maybe a third of the number of teams. They had a third of the number. There was like a lot of restrictions on how many people could actually go in. But anyway, yeah, it was a big success, and a lot of fun. So I didn't go, but yeah, from what I hear, it was pretty awesome.
How's the Bootsie's Delta Funk going?
Good. We're doing really well. We're going through some stuff as far as hiring people on to help us manage different platforms. And so we actually got an offer to sell our Amazon page, we have a page with Amazon, and we had a company that came to us and offered to buy it from us. And so we're currently in negotiations with that. And what they would do is we would wholesale to them, and then they would take over managing it. Or the option is that they'll basically tune it up for us, and then we can split some of the profit with them. So,
Nice.
yeah. And then, we also were named, our white barbecue sauce was named the best white barbecue sauce in America. So
Really?
Cool.
that happened. Yeah. Tailgating magazine. Yeah.
That's the one I have.
Yeah.
It's delicious, people. Get it.
It really is. It's crazy because I mean, this is the second time we've been named as having the best white sauce in America. This is a different magazine. The last time we were featured on Amazon. This one, it's tailgating. It's a magazine that is all about barbecue and tailgating, which is definitely something you'd find in the South.
Yeah.
So I it's hard to like tell people that aren't from the South like what a big deal tailgating is.
I have a cousin that she lives in Louisiana, and she's a LSU fan. So she bought one of those riding cooler scooters for tailgating. Yeah, because it is like a big deal. I had no idea until she told me about it.
Like, especially college football, because in the South, like there aren't a whole lot of sports teams down here. Obviously you've got the Saints in New Orleans, but for the longest time that was the most Southern sports team, sports franchise, and so Texas isn't really considered part of the South, and then Florida definitely isn't. And so with the exception of like the St. Louis Cardinals, you really didn't have a lot of sports stuff. So Southerners compensate for that by being ultra involved in like college sports, and like it's just to like an insane degree. like even baseball, like if you go to a college baseball game, so in Ole Miss they have what's called the beer wave, and every time there's a home run hit in Oxford, Mississippi, which is part of that's where Ole Miss is. Like the entire student section has what's called a beer shower, where they throw their beers up into the air, and it's like it literally looks like a rain shower of beer coming down.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it's insane. And Oxford also, they have what's called the Grove, and it's like this oak grove that's adjacent from like where the Ole Miss football team plays, and like everybody goes out there and they have their squares, and like kids like in college, like if you go to school in Ole Miss, like you dress up, you wear like like Oxford shirts, and like girls will wear like women will wear like cocktail dresses. And they hang like chandeliers in the oak trees, and they go out there and then they just get frickin' blitzed, all day long. And then they go to the football game, and so it's just like this massive army of kids wearing Oxford tees and cocktail dresses that are just drunk and just completely insane. So it's a fun tradition.
Yeah, that sounds like fun.
Yeah.
Has things gotten pretty much back to normal in Memphis? Like,
we just opened up
masks and stuff.
We just opened up last Saturday. So they lifted the mask mandate on Saturday. It's kind of like a lot of people really aren't really sure how to feel about it, and so there's a lot of hesitation about it. It's kind of a it's kind of a mixed bag, because like, is there ever like, what is, like you knew the mandate was gonna get lifted sooner or later, so like, when is the right time? In Tennessee, the state of Tennessee is like the 6th lowest for vaccination rate. We're like at 30%,
which
like
is
pretty terrible.
We're 20% here.
Yeah.
Oh geez.
surprise
Doesn't me.
So it's you're kind of on your honor system, if the CDC says if you've been fully vaccinated, you could go without a mask. But who is, so it's wild, man. I don't know. I think people are excited to try to get back to normal, while simultaneously I read this thing that said a lot of people aren't the same as they were a year ago. Like a lot of us have changed. And so, we've been isolated. We're coming back into the public sphere again. And so like, you kind of have to be cognizant of the fact that some of your friends who you may have known for a long time have had this journey for the past year, and they're not just the same people, and so you have to kind of give them some space and allow them to kind of reintroduce themselves to you.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still wearing my mask just because it feels weird to not have it on now.
Yeah. The building that I'm at, so the building that our firm is in, our law firm is in, it's required for you to have a mask, and so I wear one. I have I have like notes, signs on my door, like before you come in, that you need to have a mask on. Especially since when I do interviews and I'm working with clients, like any of my disability clients, like we're in there for at least like 2 or 3 hours, Some with my coworkers, I don't wear my mask with my coworkers so much anymore, but yeah, definitely when I meet with clients, I ask them to wear a mask and wear mask up.
Yeah, I wear them where if I go into a business where it says, masks required, or even like, please wear a mask, then I'll wear them. But everywhere else, I don't wear it anymore. Like, I don't wear it outside, because I'm like, well, I'm following the rules. Like, I've been vaccinated. So they said, at first they said you don't have to wear them outside anymore. So I was like, all right, I'm included in that. And then now they changed it to indoors. But I do respect if like the business wants people still wearing them, then I'm going to. But and then I just hope for the best for everyone else. I'm like, I hope that you guys got your vaccines. I mean, I don't know what else to do.
Pete, did you get vaccinated?
I did. I got both of them, and I've got my card. I carry my card with me in my wallet. My vaccine card. Evidently, um, Office Depot. I don't know. Do you guys have an Office Depot or Staples there?
We have
Yeah.
Staples.
Yeah, it's the same company. No, they're different. Office Depot and Office Max are the same company. Sorry.
Okay.
But Office Depot actually does like it's $2, and they will like professionally laminate your vaccine.
They
vaccination
laminated
card.
ours at the hospital.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh wow, that's awesome.
When we got it done.
And our Staples does it for free if
Yeah.
you don't have that option.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna probably get mine laminated, and so I could take it with me and just show people. I mean,
Yeah.
we have to do this all over again, I guess, in 6 months. Again, though, because I think the vaccine is only good for about 6 months. So,
But
Yeah.
in reality, we're never going to reach the herd immunity because there's just too many people that aren't going to get it.
I guess those of us will just have to keep getting the booster, which I'm fine with. Because frankly, I'm sick and tired of arguing with the people who are not going to get. If they're not going to get it, they're not going to get it. Then they can roll the dice and take the chances with themselves. I guess I'm just happy to know that like the people that I love are all getting the vaccine. They're not. So
it's like the age-old question, like, are you a shitty person? And for like the longest time, the greatest indicator of that is watching people to see if they return back their shopping cart. You know what I mean?
right.
And this is like the live or die like version of that. Like, do you get your vaccine? Okay, don't. Don't get it. You're a shitty person, and you're
Right.
probably gonna die. And like you guys saw like Ted Nugent tested positive, right?
Right.
Yeah, and like his interview, he's like you can see the guy is like absolutely deathly afraid that he's gonna die.
And he's also a
Yeah.
shitty person. Let's just say that
He's
too. Like
I've met him in person, and he's a shitty person. He is authentically a shitty person.
yeah. It's not surprising at all. I would think that I think that he's at least a genuine person, and I think he's a shitty person, genuinely a shitty person.
What was he
Yeah.
asked you?
He pulled a gun. He told me that he was gonna shoot me in the head.
What?
What? For what? What did you do?
Have I not told you guys this story?
No, but you're going to now.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Let's
so
get some listens.
my Ted Nugent story. So the Nuge lived in Globe, Arizona, for like a long time, and back when I was 17, I was there visiting some friends of mine, and we were just kind of like, your typical Arizona kids, where you're in high school, and like the coolest thing to do was go to the billiards and shoot some pool and wear your cowboy boots, and so I got ready to leave, and there were two other girls that were with us, and so we decided to walk home together, and we lived maybe like, I don't remember, it wasn't really too far, but I remember like we had to go up this huge hill, in Globe, and Globe's kind of like, it's a mining town, it's a lot like it's even more mining than Kingman is, it's like been mining, it still is mining, it's always going to be mining, so think of Kingman, amped up, and that's pretty much what Globe is. And so we were walking up, me and these two girls were walking up this hill, and this guy pulls up with this jacked up Willys Jeep, and he pulls up beside us, and is like, "Hey, do you guys want to ride?" And I'm thinking to myself, like, he looks vaguely familiar. I don't recognize him, but like he looks vaguely familiar. The Jeep is really nice looking, It's got like the side pipes on it. It's just really tricked out, and it's awesome. And I'm thinking to myself, like, wow, this is really cool. Like, this is obviously somebody like semi-famous I can recognize. I don't know who it is, but he's also offering us a ride. That's so cool. And so I'm like, I would like a ride. Like, this is really cool, And as like I approach the Jeep, he turns to me. He's like, "Get the fuck off my Jeep, faggot. I'm talking to the ladies." And he's like, and then he's like, "I'll fucking blow your head off."
Snow's completely to the joke.
Were they They were high school girls, right? Because I heard he likes
Oh yeah, yeah.
so okay, so that does explain it. Okay.
Yeah, yeah, and so like, but I'm completely shocked. I'm 17, and I'm just like, what the fuck? Like one of the girls, I think her name was Tara. She was like 19, and she was like a good, like maybe 6 feet tall, and
Already too
and then
old
it
for
was
Ted.
well, and there was another girl there that was a little bit younger. She was maybe like 15 or 16,
Oh, that's
and
what he
but
was,
Perfect.
they
that's
were
what he was going for.
Perfect.
but but yeah, they were both the girls were wearing like, kind of like, again, they had boots, but it was like just like snow, like growing up in Arizona, like it's like wearing like some shirtless tank tops, or sleeveless tank tops. They had a tear in them, they were tied at the mid waist and stuff like that. I mean, it's like definitely, par for the course for Arizona, what you would see like in any small Arizona town. But anyway, so I'm just like completely shocked, like this. I mean, I'm trying to like understand it. Like this guy offered me a ride, and then he's telling me like he's gonna blow my head off. And so like both the girls like instinctively like grabbed me and like pulled me back, and then they like in sync said "fuck you, Ted," and, and like flipped him the bird. And I'll never forget this. Like he revved his Jeep up and threw it in first gear and like in the low gear, and he was like, "Stay off drugs, kids," and then like peeled out and like hit us with his gravel and all this other shit, from the road,
He's
and
so
just like,
weird and creepy.
What year
yeah.
was this approximately?
Oh man, I was 17, so this had to be like 93.
Oh,
okay.
So this was like 93. This was like my junior year. This was like 93.
so after the damn Yankees.
Yeah, it blew up.
Yeah.
Well, and so like he evidently like he had lived in town for like 5 or so years, and like all the girls already knew him. Like he was known, like, yeah, he was a creeper, man. He would go and like he had already had a few girls that he had taken home and had invited them back to his place, and they all have like these really weird stories about Uncle Ted, bringing them back, and then if they kind of like put up some resistance, he like called them dope whores and shit like that, So, but he also had a couple girls that like definitely got taken advantage of. So, but yeah.
Yeah, he is a creep.
Yeah, I think Courtney Love even has a story too about him when she was younger.
I know she does about Weinstein, Harvey Weinstein.
I think she does about Nugent too. Like she.
But no, he's a full-on predator, man. Like he's he like literally cruises around for like high school girls, to pick.
He's like I wonder if they based Matthew McConaughey's character in that. Oh God, what's that movie? The Linkletter movie.
No, they get
Dazed and
I get
Confused.
older, they stay the same age.
Yeah, is it Dazed and Confused? It's such a good movie, but yeah, I'm like, I wonder if they based that off of Ted Nugent, McConaughey's character.
I wonder what made him move back to Michigan.
Well, he got in trouble for poaching a bear. He like went out archery hunting and like killed a bear, and he didn't have a tag for it, and he got in trouble in California and kind of got banned from California. The judge revoked his hunting license or his ability to ever do anything like that ever again. And so he was doing a bunch of hunting shows in Globe, Arizona. Because that's another thing where he likes going. He had this Ted Nugent like Call of the Wild show where he was filming out there and all that other stuff.
Yeah, I vaguely remember that.
Yeah. He would go out and kill animals and shit. So I don't know, man.
Was that his reality show? I think I saw a couple episodes of that, and he was like yelling at the. I don't know why a vegetarian person would have gone on the show, but like maybe it was just to make good drama. But like I remember him yelling at that person, like they were gonna have to learn to like gut an animal and all this stuff. I don't know.
Yeah, he does a lot of stuff with like guns and stuff like that. He had his own gun show for a while, that on the Outdoors channel, and I mean they have no scruples, man. They'll put anybody on there.
I guess so.
So, but yeah.
So, Memphis, you were right in the heart of the action with the pipeline shutting down this week, right?
The bridge shut down.
Well, the bridge shut down, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, there was a crack in the
But
bridge on I-40.
yep.
So, what kind of mess does that create?
A huge one. Like so there's a couple bridges. There's four bridges that cross the Mississippi, and Memphis has like I think two of them. And so the bridge that broke, it's the largest structural bridge. It's this M-shaped bridge, and they have like lights hooked up to it, and it's kind of like the pride of Memphis. All of the, if you look at the Memphis states, the Memphis seal for the city of Memphis, that bridge is like prominently featured on it. The bridge was built in, I believe, like 1974. 1974 is when they completed construction. It took like a couple decades for them to build it. So it breaking like and it's a really sizable. It's a prototypical like steel stress or iron stress fracture that just broke.
Right. Now,
And
was that one of the support beams under the roadway?
it's a suspension bridge, and so there's it's suspended, but
Okay.
it's right in the middle where it broke. And so they had an engineer from the University of Memphis and analyzed it, and he used all these computer drawings and computer analysis to show that it was designed in 1974 and it was a poor design. And you wouldn't do that now. You wouldn't design a bridge that way. And the reason is because of the stress that's on there, that it puts way too much stress that it's capable of supporting. And so the problem now is that they can patch it, but by patching it, it actually distributes the stress to other parts of the bridge. And like if the strongest part of the bridge broke, then these other places that are going to be distributed are almost of course going to break. So the entire bridge is pretty much shot, and so they've rerouted everything to bridges that were built in like 1949. So the bridge that was built in 1949 is now the main thoroughfare. And I mean, the thing you have to appreciate about Memphis is literally the logistics hub of the world. Like there's the largest, FedEx has their home here.
Yeah.
On top of that, like UPS, this is like one of the largest airports for UPS, like globally, is in Memphis. And so like there's almost like 30 different shipping companies that come out of Memphis. As far as trucking companies, there's like, God knows how many like warehouses. I mean, Google has a warehouse here. Amazon has like 2 or 3. And so, yeah, it's a big deal, and like, so it's going to ripple through the rest of the world because, if you can't get your stuff unloaded here, I mean, where else, you're going to have to reroute it to someplace else, and it's going to take time and all the other stuff, So
they have to divert the traffic off I-40 to another bridge?
There's another bridge, or you can go up through to Kentucky and cross and over in Kentucky, or there's another bridge down in Mississippi, so you can take the I-55 down to Mississippi and cross there.
How long does that take?
I'm sorry, I think it's the battery on my headphones. Yeah. So that would take like that would be an additional hour, and then it's crazy because like that's like one of the older routes, and it's filled with towns where it's like 45 miles per hour, where like the I-40 was built in like I think like the 60s. And the late 50s, 60s. I've met people that actually worked on it.
Yeah, wasn't it like an Eisenhower thing? Like when he did a lot of infrastructure?
Yeah. And the reason he did that was because of his experiences in World War II, where the Germans were able to, they were able to bomb cities, and then when the citizens evacuated, it clogged everything up, and so the military couldn't get through there. So the whole idea behind the interstate is that you can create one lane for civilians, and then you can funnel the military through the other lane. That's why there's 2 lanes on interstates. Yeah.
Cool.
Whereas old highways are just like one, head-on traffic, So yeah, that's where Eisenhower came back, and he was able to sell everybody, and raise taxes because everyone was scared shitless of the Russians taking over, and and the communists taking everybody's money. So they were just
Eisenhower,
like,
the last time
hey,
the Republicans saw a decent president.
Speaking of that, taxes and stuff like that, I got into a Facebook debate with somebody yesterday about the roads here, and if you've driven around, and they're just putting that seal coat down to fix the cracks, and which it's a horrible job.
Right.
But I got into a debate because they repealed the 1 cent sales tax here in Kingman that mostly tourists would fund the repairing of the roads. And I think you remember that I said that at the time. I'm like, watch people complain like they didn't want to have the extra 1 cent, but I'm like, well, the tourists are maybe the ones that are paying the majority of the road repairs. But it got repealed by some prominent business owners here in Kingman, the good old boys.
It was, and just I'm sorry to interrupt, but not only was it going to fix the roads, but it also bolstered the pension for the police department and fire department too. The 1 cent tax.
I didn't know that, but yeah.
Yeah. So not only did they screw over the roads, is they also like gave a big fuck you to like all the the firefighters and police officers in Kingman that have pensions in their funds.
Well, yeah, support the blue, right? I mean, that's what this town's all about.
Right.
Yeah.
No,
I think I know someone who was a police officer too that was all again, like, talk about not paying attention
Going
enough
against your own
to
interests.
know. Yeah, talk about not paying attention enough to know that you're fucking yourself.
So,
whoa.
So this debate went back and forth, and the guy was like, "You don't know what you're talking about." I'm like, "Yes, I do. I'm pretty well versed in what this repealing the sales tax would do." And he was just like, "Well, they have all these houses being built, and you can just use the money from the property tax." I'm like, "Yeah, but the houses are just getting built, and even then, I don't think that would cover the proper repairs for the roads because we do have the shittiest roads in the country here."
Well, I mean, all you can say is you can't fix stupid. I mean, I don't know how else to explain it about the people freaked out. And then it was, I heard it was mostly Swannies that was against it.
That was one, and
leading the fight.
And then there was one that owned the Harley dealership, and there was a few other ones.
Yeah.
Basically, what they were afraid of is the same reason why they didn't want the interchanges to go in to get traffic to the airport. Is they're afraid it would bring in competition for their businesses.
Well, I know Swannies say that like they already have to deal with people that travel to Las Vegas to buy a vehicle because they have a better inventory, or Phoenix. And
that's not always entirely true. I tried to go to Swannies first when I bought a Jeep, and they were such assholes. They go, "If we get you the Jeep that you want, we're going to have to get it from another dealership. So you're paying full price." Then I go, "Well, then I guess I'm just going to go to the other dealership. I mean, then why would I come to you?"
my dad had the same experience. He went to the Ford dealership and was like, I mean, my dad has like this, like a 96 GMC truck that has maybe like 24,000 miles on it. He bought it brand new, and he's just like, "Look, I want to buy a truck, and I want to get these things." And the guy at the Ford dealership was like, "Well, go online and design your truck online, and then tell them you want it delivered here." And my dad's like, "Well, like, I'm not going to do that. I mean, I'm nearly 70 years old. I'm not that's computer savvy." And the guy just like shrugs his shoulders, is like, "Okay, well, okay." So,
well, I think
was the sales.
I know they're just, they don't want to do any work. Obviously, it's
I think we're challenged in a lot of ways, being, this remote, with getting good help anywhere. Because I was supposed to see a cardiologist this week after an incident a few months ago, and I've had elevated blood pressure since. And it took me 4 months to see a cardiologist after I was supposed to see one in 10 days. I finally saw him, and all he did was sit me down and go, yeah, we need to do a stress test. We need to do an MRI on your heart. I'm like, yeah, isn't that what I'm here for? And they're like, nope, we have to put it in for the test, and you have to wait.
Yeah.
And it was just like, well,
yeah. Don't get me started on that. That's been like. That's like currently my biggest grind right now, and it happened because I went to my doctor, who, so I got in there and they're like, well, you're supposed to be fasting, and so we need you to come back so we can take your blood pressure again. And I'm like, or do you draw blood on you again? And I'm like, well, why didn't you tell me that? And it was just kind of like a oops. And then they were like, well, you're gonna have to pay another copay, and I just had like this moment where, my doctor's open from 9 to 4 Monday through Friday, and it's just not. And I have the same thing with my practice, like within the legal field, where so many people like to talk about being patient centered, and they like to talk about being client centered, and they're really fucking not. I mean,
right?
if you're client centered, you're going to be open past 6 o'clock because that's when the majority of people get off work. If you're patient centered, then you're going to have Saturday clinic hours. So, I mean, and it's like this world that's been built up where if you don't go to you have to pay a copay. If you don't go to your appointment, then, if you miss your appointment, then they can charge you a missed appointment fee. And, so I don't know what the solution is. But I feel like, there needs to be kind of there's like a reckoning building in like these professional fields, because I want to be honest, a lot of these guys, they're not good at what they do. What they do have that separates them from everybody else is they have a professional license to operate the business that they do. And if you don't like it, too fucking bad, So, a lot of attorneys don't go to business school. They don't know about balancing books. They don't know about dealing with clients. They know about dealing with the law, and so, yeah, I don't know. I think there needs to be something written. One thing I'll give Mississippi kudos for is they wrote a law that said that banks have to be open for at least 4 hours on a Saturday, and so if you have a bank in Mississippi, you're forced to have Saturday hours, to make it more convenient for people to do business. And I think everybody should adopt that. Yeah. Because you think about how many banks just are simply not open on Saturday.
I guess it's not really reassuring to know that the medical field is screwed up everywhere, not just here.
No, it's a United States problem.
Yeah,
most definitely.
If I order I've had like multiple clients through disability that have epilepsy, and if I order it's very expensive for them to go to a neurologist. And so if I can go to the Social Security and I can ask them, like, hey, can you set up a neurological, what's called a consultative exam? And the Social Security department will pay for that exam. The nearest location is in Nashville, which is about 3 or 4 hours away. So, and we're in Memphis. We have the state of the art clinics and facilities here, like Sims Murphy, which is like one of the best neurological and spine companies in the world is here in Memphis. So, but still, if you ain't got no money, man, guess what?
Yeah.
So,
hey, were they hoarding gas in Memphis? Were you along that pipeline?
Did you hoard gas?
No, I did not. I told myself, I said, you know what, I should go get gas this morning. And then I didn't do it, which is like, like pretty much like telling yourself you're going to get gas. I'll get I'll
get it in the morning.
That's like the biggest cell phone. Yeah, it's the biggest cell phone. You know what I mean? Like you pretty much, because you're going to wake up in the morning, you're going to be on E, and then you're pretty much screwed. Your entire day is screwed. Right?
Were stations running out of gas there?
So multiple stations, within that night, like I could have gone in and gotten gas. By the next morning, everybody was gone. Everybody was out.
Now, Snow is out of the loop this week, and she really didn't see any of this. But there were people with like 55-gallon drums in the back of their trucks, just filling up their containers. I was sort of hoping, like, what the gas companies would do when they saw that, they would just drop the prices of fuel, just to screw those people that were paying $3-something a gallon.
Yeah, but that's not going to happen.
No,
I mean, because I'm convinced that people here in Kingman, the gas stations, hike their prices up because gas prices are usually pretty much the same across the entire state of AZ, right? So I went to Phoenix and they were like $2.99. Then I go to my family's cabin. It was like $2.99, $2.84 up there, and that's a small town like Payson. And then I come back here, they're like, it's like $3.19. I'm like, well, Kingman's like cashing in on this. They're jacking their prices up.
We everybody. I had to drive. So the next morning, I was on empty. I had to drive around for about 30 minutes to find a gas station. That one didn't have a line all the way out into like the street. I found one place. They shut down. The only tanks that were functioning were like the 99, like the premium. You know, like they're 87 and mid grades were all shut down. And so you had to. And what was funny is that there's this older Karen that was like at the station.
Karen.
And she's like she sat there for like half an hour. And she's like, "Why is it going so slow?" And like,
oh my God!
Yeah, and Muhammad's like, yeah, that one's not working. You know, like the pump isn't working that you're on. It's turned off. There's no gas." And so she drove to like the pump next to me, and proceeds. She's trying to get some of that sweet 87, right? You know, so she's like, putting the 87. She's like, "It's the 87 isn't working on this one." And he's like,
"It's not working on any."
He's like, "It says right there on the thing, out of order. Like it's that you have to go with the premium." She's like, "I'm not going with premium." I was like,
"Then bye, Karen."
I told her, I'm like, "You know, there's a gas shortage, right?" She's like, "Shut up! I know." I'm like, "Okay, all right." Like,
oh my God.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that goes back to the point we were making earlier, whether, you're just a good person or not, or just be an asshole. If you're like got 455-gallon drums of in the back of your truck and you're filling them up.
How many of the Trump pumpers are blaming Biden for this?
Oh, all of them. All of them.
Gas
all of them.
Yeah, it's crazy because I don't watch Fox News, but I can get kind of the gist of what's going on because it's like everywhere you go, it's the same. It's like the same thing. Like, you know who's doing this is Biden. You're just like, what? Like everybody,
right? Which it had nothing to do after the 2016 election. They're saying that we need more infrastructure for cybersecurity, so this place didn't get hacked. And
there was every single Republican voted against increasing cybersecurity. Every single one. They blocked it because the person because it was anti-Russia, and which is also crazy. Like, well, talking about how, like, the same talking points is like if you ever try to say anything negative about Russia on any of these like feeds, it's always like, well, Russia, they're good Christians. I don't really see them as much of a problem as China.
I thought we used to not like Russia. What is going on? Like, we're so confused.
Well, that we didn't like Russia up until Rocky IV. Then we kind of made, Sylvester Stallone kind of solved that
with Mother Russia now.
It's everything is like China. Everything is really anti-China, which is crazy because China is like one of the largest economies in the world. Like Russia, I mean, like, what do they do? Like nobody.
What have you done for us lately?
Well, come on, Pete. They did send over 40,000 ballots made out of bamboo to Arizona.
Oh God!
Is that what the cyber ninjas are claiming?
Yes.
Cyber ninjas.
Everyone is. There's like every single reporter from across the board is like, I just got back from Maricopa County, and woo boy, like it is cuckoo banana time.
Dumber than dumb.
Right. They had basically it was 10 days or 2 weeks to count the ballots, and they've only gotten through 500,000 of them. But now they had to close up because they have a week of graduations at the it's at the arena where they have the state fair every year is where they were counting.
The state fair's at the Coliseum.
Yeah, but that's where they were counting the ballots. So now we have to trust.
Like fucking liars! I know this.
We have to trust the
cyber. You go there for fry bread every year.
No, we have to trust the cyber ninjas that they're going to lock up these ballots and nothing will happen to them. It's just ridiculous.
I absolutely love it because it's like we need to find out what happened in the election. Well, yeah, but
we do know Biden won.
Oh, and
that's what happened.
Snow.
Bye.
Snow. Do you know who's leading the charge in Mojave County to support that?
Probably Karen Lingenfelter.
That would be correct.
Oh, how'd I get that one? Ding, ding, ding.
I actually had an engagement with a certain elected representative.
Karen Lingenfelter? I'll say it.
I won't say any names, but
I'll say it for you.
I asked him some I thought were like nonpartisan and like non-leading questions of like, well, what are your expectations to come out of this, and is this really a good allocation of consumer of the taxpayers' money? And I get the fact that the taxpayers, like the Arizona Senate, only allocated I think like what it was like $300,000 towards the recount. And they were like, "This is it." And so the rest of the money has been paid by Trump loyalists, for the recount. And so but his response to me was like, "Well, I don't care. It shouldn't care how much it costs because this is all about reassuring people who are questioning the integrity of the vote."
Right. I saw that back and forth you had with him, and yeah. I wanted to put in there. I wanted to be like, okay, well, if this comes back where the cyber ninjas find that this was a legitimate election, are you going to stop this BS? Because we need our public officials to stop the division and stop all the BS.
I can answer it for you. No, he's not. He's going to do whatever it takes to further his political career.
Right.
That's it.
Because even Lindsey Graham said Trump is still the most popular Republican, and that's why nobody will jump off the bandwagon.
Well, but it's kind of tough. Like you can't, like, as we saw what happened with the representative from Wyoming, where she basically said like Trump sucks.
Liz Cheney.
Liz Cheney, and then they removed her from.
I know she loses. They're insane. Even the assholes, even the elected ones, they're fucking in a cult.
Right, and
they're in a cult.
I'm reading the comments on the local pages about that, and they said, well, Liz Cheney's a Democrat. I'm like, Liz Cheney's the farthest thing from a Democrat.
Liz Cheney is a fucking Cheney. She is not a fucking liberal.
Exactly. This is like so like, if anyone, I'm sure everyone here has read the book Animal Farm.
Uh-huh.
And it's like, when they excommunicated Snowball, and then anything that went wrong was like, well, this is the work of Agent Snowball. You know what I mean? It's exactly that. This is so Orwellian. And it's weird because they're in this really weird death spiral right now, where they're basically just murdering anybody or just killing the careers of anyone. And it's going to be self promulgating, because that's the way you advance right now in the Republican Party. The way you move up in like seniority and rank is by basically accusing the people ahead of you of being traitors and criminals. I mean, it's full on Soviet, man, and they're like just happy to go with it.
Right.
So
and your two most prominent newsmakers in the Republican parties, the up and comers, are Matt Gaetz and Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Right.
Both winners. Solid winners.
Yeah, you've got that person who's just batshit crazy, and the other one's a pedophile. Well, like this guy
That's
was
the
doing.
Republican Party of today, I guess. Batshit crazy and pedophiles. I mean,
yeah.
Right. And what happened to who was the guy from the guy running for president from North Carolina, and he was having an extramarital affair?
The guy that went to he was the governor, and then he ran for Congress, and he got trumped out again too. Mark Sanford.
That's not who I'm thinking about. This guy ran for president. Name begins with a J.
I can't.
Anyway,
nothing.
that it's back when the Republicans were all about family values and stuff like that, and
and morals.
How dare you have an extramarital affair?
The party of law and order. All their stupid slogans that they come up with ever are all fucking bullshit. I watched a documentary recently about serial killers, and there was a chapter on Charles Manson, when they get to that chapter and they're talking about the girls in the cult and everything, the only thing I could think of was Trump and his supporters. It just reminded me so much of them. I'm like, it is a fucking cult.
Yeah, and you can't explain anything to them. Even if you try to be reasonable,
it'll be years before they get out of this. I mean, like those girls. A lot of those girls were still devout followers until now.
Do you think they ever get out of it? I think it just continues down the road where we have more horrible politicians like Matt Gaetz.
Well,
I think some of them will.
What's really interesting is that you guys had that senator in Phoenix, and in Arizona, the Republican Party.
Wait, which senator?
Jeff Flake?
Cinema or?
No. He's a state senator. He's a state
senator. Borelli. Sonny
Borelli. I don't know, but he was the one that came on and said like that the recount was a complete joke and he was embarrassed.
There was one guy that did that.
Yeah, then it wasn't Sonny Borelli. There's no way.
But basically, they try to kick you out of the party if you do that.
Right.
But here's the thing: is they can't do that in Arizona because in Arizona Republicans have a 2-seat majority in both houses, so it's the slimmest of slim leads. So this guy's really like the canary in the coal mine, where he's sitting there and he's like, "Look, I'm the difference between a Republican majority and a Republican minority, and you guys." I'm gonna lose. And he's saying this like 2022 comes around and I'm dead. I'm gonna get voted out. They're gonna replace me with a Democrat, and then where are we gonna be on? And so he's trying to get ahead of the curve. It's like he can see. It's like like there's that analogy used when they talk about the environment where a lot of people are free falling, but they think they're flying. Like this guy sees the ground coming up, and he's like, "We're gonna be destroyed. We're gonna get routed." By Democrats in Arizona,
even the governor went against them. Like as much as I don't like Bootsie or Douchey as I like to call him, but like he even said the election was not stolen. Like get over it.
And so like the question I posed to the guy that was the representative from Arizona or from Kingman was like, don't you have any sympathy towards this guy who's completely embarrassed? And he was like, well. Yeah, it doesn't matter how embarrassed he is. There was a lot of disdain, but also like his path to advancement and leadership depends on people ahead of him getting kicked out. And so it's like they don't even care if they're going to be a minority. They'll have. It's just all about advancing power and stuff like that.
Because it's a cult. They can't even. I think when you're in a cult, I don't even think you can see like. You know how they say, see outside the box or like see the light at the end of the tunnel. I don't think you can see that because you're just for like, I have to do what my leader wants. Whatever he wants is what I got to do. I got to serve his daddy.
You're either in the cult or you're like our county official where he knows he's smart enough to know how to play the game and you just pander into it, which is what I believe that particular person is doing.
But it's just a matter of time before his time comes around. And he's going to be, and also like there was a study that came out in Arizona so in Arizona, what you have the municipal base congregating, and it's done this for a long time, but really the seat of power is more than ever before in like a couple counties. It's like Maricopa County. It's in like Pima, like down in Tucson. It's like the urban area, the urban sprawl of Phoenix and Tucson pretty much control the majority of Arizona because they have two things. They have population and they also have the tax base. So they're generating the majority of the revenue. And then they also people, and so everyone else is just kind of like an audience, and one of the things that they showed were the rural areas like in Mojave County and I think Yavapai. It was more the one that they were really more specific about it. But a lot of the people that are moving there are older. And so what they're doing is they're leaving California, and you have pretty much this group of the migration is twofold. It's white people from California who are selling like their $1 million homes, moving to Arizona where it's cheap as shit, and basically just kind of coasting, on their retirement and on the savings from their sale of their home, and living in a house for like $300,000, and just kind of coasting on that. And then the other migration you have is people that are young who are graduating and going to work in the big city, like in Phoenix, Gilbert, Glendale, in those areas, in Tucson, and so, but there's one group that's paying taxes and the other group isn't, so you're not taxed on your Social Security income. You're not taxed on your retirement benefits, so those people aren't paying in any taxes. They're not, the state of Arizona isn't getting anything from them, that's why, like, if Mojave County is almost, or the city of Kingman is almost 100% generated, they're dependent upon sales tax, if it wasn't for sales tax accounts for like 89% to 90% of the revenue, which is why it's such a big deal that you guys, you have, I think, like, 10 years ago, you had the treasurer for the city of Kingman embezzled like over like $2 million. And you guys ended up having to take a loss on $1 million of that because somebody didn't increase the insurance, like the insurance capped at like $1 million. And they had over $2 million in revenue. And so they found out that she just absconded with it, went to Laughlin and like gambled it all away. And so, like, Kingman lost like $1 million worth of like saved revenue that they had.
What did she get for that? I do remember this story. I forgot what she was sentenced to.
She had to pay restitution, and she got, I think, like 30 years for that.
Oh, shit.
She pretty much they brought her in, and she admitted to all of it. That she had been embezzling from the city of Kingman for like, I think, almost like 6 or 7 years. They came out and like their insurance liability only covered like half of the money that she took. So like, I mean, like, how do you, I mean, that's pension that's gone. That's like city jobs that are gone, like all because somebody completely missed the boat and didn't realize that they needed to increase their insurance premium caps, to cover the amount of money that they had.
Right. And the amount of people here who do believe that the budget shortfalls are misappropriation of funds, which you hear that all the time here when that's not the case.
It's insane. I mean, the reason you don't have the money is because somebody like stole it and then nobody noticed for like several years. And then on top of that, to make it even worse, you didn't, all you had to do was maybe pay probably like a couple extra $100 a month on your insurance premium to cover that amount. And nobody did it, I mean, it's
another great decision.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well.
So, I mean, but the point is that like you know how many years a city like Kingman has to work in order to gain back that kind of money?
Yeah.
Especially when the way your only modus of like generating revenue. I mean, you already tried to do a 1 cent tax that lost. So the only other thing is just to hope and pray that people stay here. I think when Jamie Scott Staley, who's on the city council, like they did this economic study that said like if they can just get people to stay overnight in Kingman, like it would more than double the revenues, And so it's so yeah, that's the whole game, is trying to figure out a way to get people to stay overnight, So anyway,
God,
yeah.
I mean, we could go on and on about this. Yeah.
It's a spiral. So how do you stop? The people that are attracted to moving here are people who are retirement or like their car breaks down. You know what I mean?
Right.
So how do you grow your way out of it? I mean, I don't really know.
Especially when the water supply is dwindling too.
Yeah.
Yeah. You got that too.
I guess. Go ahead.
And the way the law is written on that is if you're a farmer and you've got wells, if you've dug your well, you have access to that belongs to you, and there's no cap on your water, and so that's going to take a massive change and somebody writing some legislature. And so how do you do that when you're the two assets that you have as far as leverage goes would be either tax base or something else as far as like a driving force of being able to bring people to the table, and these rural counties have neither. And again, all the energy, all the strength is all in the cities. So anyway,
why don't we try to solve something simpler like peace in the Middle East between Israel and Palestine?
Right.
I mean, that seems easier at this point.
Yeah, than Kingman's problems.
Yeah.
But So here's a solution. Pass a one cent tax for roads and things like that. Also pass a property tax on any homes that are above $750,000.
That's
Not going to happen here, though.
Yeah, no, it's suicide. I mean, you would be able to do it. So,
I think during that election, when they repealed the sales taxes, part of it is like the voters would have to have a say in any new tax increases, which is never going to happen here because people are short-sighted.
Yeah, they hear the word tax, they're like, God damn liberals.
If you pass a tax, a housing, and let me put it this way, like Lake Havasu has a property tax. Bullhead City has a property tax. Like the only one that doesn't is Kingman. Of the major metropolitans. And even if you just did like, I think the percentage of people that have a house above $750,000 are maybe just a couple guys up in the mall pies. You know what I mean? And so it would literally affect them, nobody else. But yeah, you're probably right. There would be a massive push. You'd have to do a huge voter education campaign, and it's just because some dude that's out there in Birdlands with a $100,000 house, and yeah, he's put a lot of work into it, but he'll never get taxed on that. But he'll fight you to the death.
Yeah, not even realizing that it would benefit him, not affect him, but
Sure. I mean, how are we going to be able to do the beautification that like cities like Bisbee have done, to draw in trade and draw in, to be a destination, for people, just to get people to spend the night, so it's not going to happen.
We're not going to be able to. It's going to, I feel so bad too, because it's like, small towns that don't do stuff like that usually end up dying. I mean, that's what happens to them. There's a couple of them in Nevada like that where they're just.
You don't even have to go that far. Look at Seligman. I mean, they made the decision to not have like I-17 go through their town because they didn't want to have to deal with drifters.
Oh wow!
And so I mean that there was a time when that town was as big as Kingman was, and now look at them.
Wow.
I mean, just totally withered on the vine. So.
Well, we're going to wrap this up, but you know what the solution is? Like, we need to get on this, is like Israel and Palestine. The solution is barbecue, because that brings people together.
Barbecue, yeah, right?
Just have a big old cookout.
Yeah.
It does.
Yeah, my heart breaks for everything that's going on out there. It's just terrible.
Yeah, and one more local reference to that is one of our other county officials compared what's going on over there to the Holocaust, and they said the Biden, if you're Jewish and support the Biden administration, that is very similar.
Yeah.
She said, I didn't understand why people would walk into the gas ovens, but looking at Jews that support the Biden administration, I can totally see that now.
Who said this?
Hildy.
Oh God.
No,
she's an idiot too.
What's really so the reason that people target the Democrats is because the Jewish population votes like 80% Democrat. It's like one of the most strongest Democratic voting blocks outside of African Americans. But it's funny because I see so many. I hear this all the time where I have conservatives tell me that like black folks have got a lot in common with conservatives, and then they name off stuff like they're against gay marriage. Black people are pro-business. They're against gay marriage, and and it's usually something else that's really bigoted.
Mm-hmm.
But the one thing they leave out is the fact that black folks don't want to be supportive of racists.
Right?
So
I know.
It's really it's like the anti-Semitism and trying to portray American Jews as Israeli Zionists is completely crazy. It's so anti-Semitic because they're two different countries, and the interests of American Jews are completely different. And there's a lot of American Jews that roundly criticize the BB regime and the Zionists, and they don't want to be affiliated with that at all. And for them to say like, oh, well, how can you call yourself a Jew if you don't support what's happening in Israel? I mean, that's insane, dude. I mean, that's crazy. You know, I don't even know what a good comparison to that would be, other than it's so tone deaf. You know, it's so anti-Semitic and so tone deaf. I don't know.
Right, and I don't see why, as an entire nation, we can't go, it's horrible what's going on there on both sides. And I can sort of see both sides in that conflict. I understand enough about it to go, okay, I see where this side is messing up. I see where this side's messing up. In the reality, though, and some comedian said this, he wasn't trying to be funny, but he was just like, oh, no, it was actually Julian Edelman. I got that wrong. He said there are good people on both sides, the Israelis and the Palestinians, and it's the governments and a few terrorists that are doing that, and that doesn't represent the people of Israel and Palestine.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it's a tragedy about what's going on over there.
Yeah.
But on that note, hey, what's going on with the new flavors of the Bootsie's Delta Funk?
Oh yeah, we're excited.
So yeah, we're going to be releasing. We were hoping to release it for our 5th year anniversary, which is like last month. And things have just kind of come to a standstill. We've had a few production issues and stuff like that, but it's nothing we can't work through. But yeah, so we're going to be releasing the mustard is absolutely 100% going to be re-released. If not, I'm hoping by the latest in time for Father's Day. If not, then in time for the July 4th.
Oh yeah.
We'll be checking our mailbox.
Yeah. And so we just did our first. We did a demo at this really awesome, super awesome market in Memphis. And what it was is it was the old Sears headquarters. And it's like this building that was built in the 1920s, and it's very Gothic looking. Cool. And they went in and they cleared it, hollowed it completely out, and now it's home to several hospitals are in there now. It's got tons of different shops. Like I'm part of a grocery store that's inside there that features like locally produced produce, and it's like all organic produce and stuff like that, and natural foods and stuff like that. So it's really awesome to be part of. And they came to us and said, like, look, we're going to be doing our first open air market for Mother's Day, and we want you guys to be there, you know. And so it just everything made sense with, you know, getting vaccinated and stuff like that. So we took part of it, and we demoed the mustard, and everybody loved it. You know, I mean, I'm not trying to trying to blow smoke here. I mean, I was really ready for people to not like it, and I was surprised that everybody liked it, you know, and like, you know, people from Memphis who are extremely set in their ways, you know. So Memphis barbecue is very unique. You know, the sauce is like a hybrid of Carolina and Kansas City. It's actually kind of like it's like a meeting of both of them. You know, it's very mild. It's very, you know, sweet and tangy, and so typically they don't venture outside of that flavor profile. Mm-hmm. And everyone like from Memphis was like, this is really good. Like I've never had a mustard before, and I love it. So
yeah, I'm a huge fan of mustard, so I can't wait to try it.
I've always thought of a couple good recipes. Well, I think they'll be good.
Yeah.
Are we still doing a competition? We were going to do a competition between, like, we had to cook different things using your sauces and see.
Oh, you mean with Aaron?
Yeah. Aaron, me, you, and I forget who else, but we were going to try to each make a dish and see whose is the best.
I'm going to try to get out at the last week of June, and I've talked to the folks over at West on 3rd about this.
Okay.
And Rosebud Farms, which are, you know, Andrea, she's a super amazing person, and so we're going to try to maybe get out there, and we'll do a demo. We'll do a pop-up outside there, and we'll do some food, and we'll definitely have the mustard.
Oh no, we'll definitely.
Oh yeah.
You know what we should do? We should because we did our last episode. I don't know if you heard it, Pete, but we did it out back of Blackbridge, and we should set up something there maybe where we can turn these mics on and just do something there
and talk about sauce.
Yeah.
You know what would be awesome, and just hear me out here, is we could do the pop-up in front of West on Third, because they sell our stuff, and then afterwards we could cater a lunch and have like some fresh ribs and pork and all different types of stuff available, and just kind of have like a nice little spread.
That'll work.
That sounds awesome.
That would work.
Yeah,
we're game.
Yeah, and you guys just have at it, and and just see what you think. Yeah.
Well, Pete, this is the first time we had you on that we didn't prepare something ahead of time. Now I'm feeling like we should have.
I know, right? We didn't have the mustard.
I know. I'm thinking about.
I would have done brats.
I'm thinking about whether the brats, and the other thing I was thinking about is take some spam, fried spam sandwich, and put that on it.
Yeah. Yeah.
That'd probably be good too. It'd make spam taste better.
My latest obsession has been. Are you guys familiar with Texas Twinkies?
No.
No, what's that? Like a fried Twinkie?
So, Texas Twinkie is a jalapeno. You hollow it out, you cut it off, hollow it out. You throw in a wedge of cheese. You can either do cream cheese or like cheddar, and then you do brisket, and you fill the inside of the pepper like that. You wrap it in bacon, and then you smoke it.
All right, I'm already in.
Oh yeah, I would try that.
So it comes out like this little like perfect little mummified, bacon wrapped, jalapeno mummy, and you just put it in your mouth, and it's just like you believe in God instantly. So
maybe dip it in some of that mustard sauce, and then try it. Yeah, that sounds good too.
Boy.
You could brush some on. Yeah, absolutely.
Hell yeah.
All right, well, we'll have to touch base and keep in touch about this, because definitely sounds like something that we could all get behind.
Yeah, June. Mark your calendars, people.
Yeah. We'll flesh out the deets, and I'll keep you guys posted.
Okay.
So, cool.
Yeah.
All right. So does this bridge being closed affect your commute?
No, it doesn't. It doesn't, but it does affect my ability to resupply, because we have several stores in Arkansas. And I can't. So I think we'll have to see how things it kind of coincides. So some of the trouble we're having is that the kitchen that we produce at has had a couple of machines go down, and the nearest repair person is in Athens, Georgia, and so it's going to be like a couple weeks, until we can get stuff fixed. So that's thrown everything, into the literally of the proverbial monkey wrench, is into the machinery. So on part of it is I don't have the products to resupply them, and then now I don't have the ability to. So it's kind of a nice. Hopefully they're not listening, but it's a nice excuse to say, I can't get out there. Bridge is down.
Yeah.
Please don't get rid of my slots. Because a lot of stores they give you a space and you have to fill it up, and I've got some sweet space. Usually they give you a shoebox. I've got six shoeboxes worth of space that's just for me and me alone. And I can't get out there. And so usually what happens is some creeps will come in there and put their product in my space. So anyway, I know I've been please don't give up. Don't give me up. I'm talking to you, Kraft. You better stay away from my stuff. That's not.
Well, hopefully. I mean, I guess this boils down to why we need an infrastructure plan in this country.
Shit.
You think that'd be a no-brainer, but
I don't know, man. Maybe I know it's been beating my head against the wall, talking to my elected representatives. Yeah, the brilliant sarcasm tone. Let me put on my sarcasm font here. The brilliant Marsha Blackburn.
Oh Jesus! Oh my God! They play her clips all the time. I'm like, fuck.
She's God bless her heart.
She's a doozy.
None of them have said anything about the bridge. But they're all adamantly against the infrastructure plan. I mean, and just to talk about how bad our infrastructure is, the Army Corps of Engineers says that America's infrastructure is a C-. Like,
Oh my God.
so yeah, I mean, I know a lot of people might sit there and say, you know what, C's get degrees, but man, what they don't do is they don't attract any business, and they're bad for business.
And not if you're trying to claim that you're the #1 country. I mean, come on, people. Well,
how are we?
number one doesn't get C minuses. Come on.
How are we supposed to beat China with C minuses?
I know.
Those kids are producing engineers, and those are A+ engineers.
Yeah. So yeah, we're not buying that. You know.
No, man. I mean, it's literally like, yeah, we got a C- infrastructure.
Yeah.
I think, Pete, it's always great having you on, but this has been one of the most depressing episodes we've ever done.
We talked about a lot of sad stuff. It's good though, because it's all therapy. That's what I consider it. I don't. Whatever we're discussing, it's always good to talk, and it's always good to talk with our friends who are like-minded friends.
I actually had a friend of ours that like pulled me aside, and she's like, you've been really depressing lately to follow online. I'm like, I'm sorry. So my newest thing is that
I don't think that you should apologize for that. Like I don't agree with the people who ignore the stuff when the stuff gets bad. I don't agree with that either. I mean, I think addressing it is much more important, and talking about it. I think not talking about things is what has gotten this country into so much fucking trouble. I feel like I don't even know some of these people.
Right, and we just carry the conversations on social media, and it gets nowhere because nobody's gonna.
Who's gonna take the time to do any work?
Yeah, well, you get locked into your positions on social media, and there's no compromise. Now, if you're out having conversations with people, say over barbecue, they're more willing to listen to your point of view, because they're not going to call you an asshole to your face.
Folks, the point is we need more barbecues, okay?
Yes,
we do. So this is my new thing I've gotten into, and this is mostly just something to put my energy into instead of just like being depressed all the time. And that's I've gotten into like tube amplifiers, and I'm like looking into like stereo equipment and sound equipment. And I don't know if you guys know anything about tube amps, but they produce like some of the most amazing music. It basically takes regular music and it breaks it back down. You've got like these new things coming out called DAC. It's like digital to analog converters you can put on, and it makes your music sound like you're inside the studio when they're recording it. And it's very interesting how it does all the stuff. And they've got vacuum tubes that screw in, and like you can buy like vacuum tubes from like the 1940s and 50s, they've been warehoused. And screw them into stuff, and it's called tube rolling, and it makes your music sound really, 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 really awesome. And so, getting into that kind of stuff, I've gotten back into like a lot of acoustic music, and I've discovered sea shanties and acoustic sung sea shanties about like becoming pirates and stuff like that, and it's really awesome. So
when we do this barbecue podcast, we should have Pete from Shady Grove Records on again to discuss this, because we touched briefly on this on the last episode, but that was a good conversation.
And that's that. Peter Harmiel. I mean, him and I, we grew up together, and that's exactly it. I mean, he's kind of on the tip of all that with like bringing back vinyl records and analog, and just sitting down and listening to an entire album start to finish, while eating some barbecue.
Right. Yeah, I remember being a teenager and getting vinyl, and you open it up, and the way the record smelled, and the packaging of the record, and you open it up and you listen to the entire thing front to back. And then you reread the lyrics and who produced it, who played on it, and all that other stuff.
Yeah, think about like, when was the last time you listened to a record that was every song was amazing? Like, I was thinking about this, and I went back to the Rolling Stones Sticky Fingers album. It had like Wild Horses on it, and like just so many great songs, man. Just every single song on there was just slamming, you know.
I don't know. I think Green Day's American Idiot was pretty solid front to back.
Yeah. There's another one, absolutely. But you think about like remember before, like, you know, you could just buy one song out of the entire album. Like they actually had to put together albums so you could buy the friggin' album, you know. So I'm trying to think of other stuff that's like that, like just like albums that were perfect, you know.
You know, and for a whack job, to be fair though, Ted Nugent did have a couple solid albums back in the day.
I mean, you know, it turns out like what's like the joke of every Elliott Smith song is about shooting heroin, you know, every Ted Nugent song is about like trying to get in the pants of a 14-year-old, you know? I mean, so
they know what they like, you know.
Yeah.
Why not sing about
See,
it?
this is what's called comedy. You bring everything back around, full circle.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Pete, it was great having you on.
Always nice to talk to you, Peter.
Yeah,
Thank you guys.
and believe it or not, we put this together less than an hour before we started taping.
Oh, they'll believe it.
Yeah, sure. You won't be seeing us on vinyl. Okay.
The perfect album.
All right. Well, we're gonna wrap this up. See you, everybody. All right, Pete.
Thanks,
Hold on the phone for a second. Okay. All right. Bye, everybody.
Bye, y'all.